CBDCs. A lot of things have been going around, and with all this buzz around CBDC, it's actually time to answer all the questions that you might have around it. So, in this video, we are going to talk about what exactly is a CBDC. Is CBDC and the cryptocurrency market same? What exactly is the potential advantage of any CBDC? Does India need a CBDC? What impact these CBDCs will have on the banking, CBDCs along with the monetary policies, and where is RBI in this whole fiasco of CBDCs? And in the end, I'll just give you my conclusion. So hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Aishwarya Gupta and you are watching my YouTube channel that is dedicated just about blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and its like. My profession, I'm a digital asset researcher, and my aim is to simplify tons of content out there so that it makes sense to you. So in case you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and smash that like button and hit subscribe. Also, please stick to the end because the information that I'm about to give you is going to blow your mind. So now let's get into it. What exactly is a CBDC? So a CBDC is something which is just a legal tender which is issued by the central banks in a digital format. So it is just the same as the fiat currency and inexchangeable one-to-one with the fiat currency. Only its form is different. So except as currency notes, all other use of paper in the modern financial system, be it bonds, securities, transactions, communications, correspondences, and messages have now been replaced by their corresponding digital electronic versions. Only the cash remains. So now the question that many of you will have is, are these CBDCs exactly the same as cryptocurrencies? Well, it is not comparable to a cryptocurrency as the work of cryptocurrencies is entirely different. So I'll cover cryptocurrencies maybe sometime later because this video has been focused on CBDCs. So coming back, the next question that you can have for me is, what exactly is the need for any such CBDCs? So let's go through it. The first one, central banks want to do away with this paper money and its disadvantages like printing money and its associated costs. Second, to reduce the use of physical cash as it's majorly untraceable and can be used for activities which may or may not be ethical, and it constitutes a major loss to our taxation. Third, it helps to reduce settlement risks in the financial system. So even if you're using UPI, you need something called an interbank settlement, which prevents it from being real-time and cost-effective at the back end. So in the front end, it's not there, but at the back end, it's a time-consuming process. The fourth one is it can also foster international settlements and reduce the need for any international central bank. And there is no more any time zone issues that the US bank are going to be open at this time frame and something like that. You can do those settlements real time. So interestingly, one more point that is there, our central banks say that it sees that need for CBDCs to prevent the general public from using private virtual currencies. I mean cryptocurrencies. So I can certainly mock about this, but let's not do it because some people would be watching from there as well. So the next question that comes here is, do we need a CBDC for India? Okay, India being a leader player in the digital payments and its innovation, it would be, I think, an impressive add to the CBDC as it adds to the menu. Now, digital payments have grown impressively with a CAGR of 55% over the last 5 years. Now, this can be increased if we somehow are able to reduce the cash usage, especially for small value transaction. But I don't think it's very likely that CBDCs are going to be able to do that. What next? So India's high currency to GDP ratio holds out another benefit for these CBDCs. So to the extent large cash usages can be replaced by CBDCs, the cost of printing, transporting, storing, and distributing currency can be reduced. So that's actually an advantage. What next? So RBI again thinks that cryptocurrency can pose a threat to our national currency. Oh my god. The quote, it is not clear what specific need is met by these private virtual currencies that official money cannot meet and as effectively and efficiently, but that may in itself not come in the way of their adoption. If these virtual currencies or cryptocurrencies gain recognition, national currencies with limited convertibility are likely to come under threat. That means they are feeling that INR is going to come under threat. So, to be sure, freely convertible currencies like the US dollars may not be affected as most of these virtual currencies are denominated by US dollar. They also go on to say that CBDCs can prevent virtual currencies volatility as they can be pegged to the national rupee. Okay, I agree on that. But just the last part. Again, I would refrain from comment. Someone needs to do their studies before coming out and giving such bizarre comments. Well, now moving on to the last portion, what happens to banks in case CBDCs come into existence? What will happen? So banks have to keep a certain amount of deposits with the RBI to ensure that all the intraday settlements are happening properly, and in case of any default, such deposits can serve as security. Now, if CBDC comes in, it would enable direct settlement without banks, thereby reducing the need for such hefty deposits. But if more transactions start to happen via CBDCs and deposits with bank reduce, this would hamper what? This would hamper the power of banks to create credit. This will have two impacts. First, it will reduce the low cost deposits with banks, and it will increase their cost of lending because they will have to borrow the money at a higher cost in order to go out and lend out. Second, it will also take away significant transaction volumes. Now that means less balances in the current banks as the CBDC is going to settle those payments as well. So that's again a negative for the banks. And CBDCs might also force banks to hold huge balances since they have to maintain the trust of the customers to a high degree. Now this might reduce the returns on commercial banks as they would not be able to use the same cash for the lending activities. So again a problem with the banks. So it's not good for the banks at all. The CBDCs and the monetary policy. So since the central banks will have the overall control over CBDCs, the monetary policy could be managed as per their wishes. When government wants you to spend all that you have against your will, what it will do is it will just turn the rates negative. And you would want to spend your money because you're actually losing the value if you keep those money in that bank. And they can issue any number of new tokens when they want, remove them from the supply whenever they want. And today these things take months because you have to go out and you have to do that by printing the money and buying back from the market and all those things. But CBDC is just like, it's done. So where is actually RBI with this CBDC launch? So like other central banks, RBI has also been exploring the pros and cons of introduction of CBDCs since quite some time. RBI is currently working towards a phased implementation strategy and is examining the use cases which would be implemented with little or no disruptions. Some key issues under examination by the RBI is the first one, the scope of CBDCs, whether they should be used in retail payments or also in wholesale payments. The second is the underlying technology, whether it should be distributed ledger or a centralized ledger, for instance, or whether the choice of technology should vary according to the use cases. Third, the validation mechanism, whether token based or account based. Fourth, distribution architecture, whether direct issuance by the RBI or it should go through the banks. Fifth, degree of anonymity, etc., etc. So basically, it's just paperwork. Legally, there's also a need to examine and amend acts like the RBI Act of 1934, the Coinage Act of 2011, FEMA 1999, Information Technology Act 2000, etc., etc. Now, let's go and see what exactly is my conclusion. Now, this is something which I have derived from reading and going through all the news and publications by the RBI. there is a dire need to understand that technology and purpose for issuance is very necessary. And it seems that RBI wants to issue CBDC under complete pressure. And as a way to curtail the threat it sees against virtual currencies, which could turn out to be a recipe for complete disaster. The knowledge that they have on the technology also seems to be limited, and what form of CBDC is to be issued is also not clear. And how they're going to keep the banks in the loop is also a very big question, because if CBDCs take volume of banks, there would be a good amount of layoffs too. Also, we are way far from having a CBDC unless the purpose is true, and I believe it shouldn't also go for it until and unless they know what they're doing. So that's it, folks. I hope now you are much more aware of what is CBDC and you don't need to ask from anybody else. And if you like the video, go ahead and hit a like and share this video if you feel that I've added value to it. That's it for today. Keep subscribed to get more such videos when they come as they come. See you in the next video.